Kevin Owens takes a jab at the Raw production team, plus a released star is joining a major indie faction, and is WWE working with TikTok star Hasbulla? We'll talk about it in the wrestling news right now. Kevin Owens' WWE status is an interesting one. There's a lot of conversations about whether or not he will be away in January. Now, I'm not saying the story alludes to that in any manner, but there really is a sense of what the kids would call dillygaff about Kevin Owens as we're coming the way from 2021.
Yeah.
He's a bit like that, isn't he? So
Yeah.
on Raw, he was in a match with Bobby Lashley, as Bobby Lashley was in a match with everybody on Raw, to be honest. But Kevin Owens on Twitter quote retweeted Bobby Lashley, who had mentioned that Kevin was a former Universal Champion. And Kev said, "Bobby, thank you for remembering that I'm a former Universal Champion. Whoever does the little write-ups for the stats on TV during our entrance on Raw never remembers. They know I speak French fluently, though." Now, I have to take...
What's
Go
the
on.
Universal Championship mean? It's nothing. I want to know if you've eaten a prawn cocktail crisp in your life, Kevin. I want to know if you prefer dressed all over or zesty more than chips. I want to know, Kevin. Come on. We don't need stats and facts about wrestling. This isn't a wrestling show. It's entertainment, Kevin.
This is the second time since Raw that the people who write the, quote, little write-ups for the stats on TV have
Has
got
a
a
size
hiding
9
online.
shoe.
It's all just... the one that... The one away from shoe size is the one that caught everybody's eye was when Finn Balor came out, and at the bottom of his it said, has a demon persona. For God's sake.
Just...
Has a really good gimmick.
Like I've been trying to watch some pro wrestling Noah, right, to get ready for the Noah versus New Japan watch along that me and Jack will still be somehow doing, I think, depending on the situation. But Noah presents it with the English commentary like super sporty, like it's like great headlock takedown there, and he's got the leverage on him, and it's like super sports. But, WWE is super entertainment. There is a place you can meet it in the middle. You can give us some interesting stats and facts and figures. You never had a problem doing it back in the day on SmackDown. So,
It is very... It's a weird one. They sometimes get them right and they're sometimes fine, but it's just when they don't, I kind of feel like with this one, they just said, can you mention at the bottom about Finn Balor's demon persona?
Yeah.
And then when nobody got back to Mark in production, he just went, I'll just write what they've said.
It should be name, weight and build hometown, championships, fun fact. That should all be, even if you need the fun fact, like even if you might not need it, but it should be like name and hometown and weight or whatever. And then, championships and achievements. That's what it immediately tells a casual viewer why this person's good and is, speaks French. Wow, he must not wrestle very much if they don't have any facts about him other than he speaks French. Like,
And NXT, more so the 1.0, they did this really lovely job of sort of matching the anecdotal nature of these with something a bit more sporty, because they would give you the intangibles of NXT guys, which would be like heart, strength, perseverance. Bet you didn't think so. I command you to. Panoramic view. Look, I'll make it all manageable. But I like that. I'd like to see that come back.
Yeah.
More than anything else. But Kev being a little bit naughty on the Twitter, having a little... You watch next week, it'll just say Universal Champion in big letters and brackets.
And that'll be it.
Happy for you? Good enough for you?
Every slot.
Staying on Monday Night Raw, somebody who hasn't had any fun facts on the screen in a while is Montez Ford. He wasn't on Raw on Monday night, and we saw that the match between the Street Profits and the Mysterios was binned off with a rescheduled date. Dave Meltzer's given us an update on Montez Ford, hasn't he, Sam?
Yeah, so he said something's up with Ford. I don't know what it is. They said that both teams were injured. For whatever it is, there's something with Ford, and I don't know if there's something with Ray or Dominic. For sure, there's something with... Do you think there's something with Ford? So they couldn't do the match. Legit, they couldn't do the... They couldn't do the match. The finals of the RK Bronament are now going to take place on the 27th of December. hopefully it's just a small kind of nagging injury. If it's an injury at all, maybe it's just like, just a sprain, or go rest up, or you never want to hear that somebody's on the shelf for any amount of time. So hopefully it's just very minor wear and tear, like back very shortly.
Fingers crossed. A major update on a major indie faction. So we saw at Ring of Honor Final Battle the arrival, first time in ring at least, in front of a crowd and stuff, of Control Your Narrative, which was the EC3 faction that he's started amassing an army of people telling their own story. Talked about a lot with Ross on Straight to Hell t'other week. And we saw EC3 alongside Adam Shear and alongside Weston Blake, the former Wesley Blake, as the faction. And it looks as if they could be adding another to that faction. So it was Adam Shear, the former Braun Strowman, that shared a lovely picture on the gram of himself, of EC3, and of the former Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, all together in a lovely bit of a match graphic. And he put the caption, "Time will tell, control your narrative, hashtag control your narrative, hashtag TikTok, hashtag all you have to do is knock, hashtag keep it one, hashtag the idea."
I think if anybody out there is going to want to be controlling the narrative right now, it's probably going to want to be Killer Kross. After the whole getting lumbered with the gladiatorial thing, I'm Spartacus, but Scarlett is missing, and it makes sense for him to join that group of people. I feel like he'd be able to produce some amazing work with the Free Your Narrative. I don't even know how to kind of describe just their output, the way it's all put together. I think he's sort of ready-made for that, isn't he? So sinister, he's very brooding, he's very dark, very aggressive. And if this is going to form its way into a nice little stable that keeps growing and growing and growing with more and more pissed off wrestlers, then yeah, I'm all for that.
I quite like it. I think it's a nice chance for Killer Kross to remind us of how good he is. Away from wearing a silly mask, a silly helmet on Monday Night Raw, and being oh gosh, that was
They could have at least got him one of those nets, and was it like a pitchfork? And he could have been coming down like the battle. His entrance theme is just the like that over and over again.
Why did I think you were singing the song they sing in Shrek when you make it to Lord Farquaad's castle? So I thought you were doing that. Time will tell on Karrion/Killer Kross. TikTok star is our final story of the day. Are you using TikTok, Sam?
I'm not, but I know who Hasbulla is, of course. Everybody knows who Hasbulla is. And WWE are reportedly wanting to work with him. And I don't think that's a very surprising thing. Do you, Tom?
I don't think it's a surprise at all. So this nugget of information about Hasbulla comes from former UFC champion Khabib Nurmagomedov, and he is a big fan of Hasbulla, and Hasbulla's a big UFC fan as well. The love is very mutual between the two. You may have seen Hasbulla. You may be wondering who Hasbulla is. If you are, he be the guy that appears on TikTok. He's from Russia. He looks like he's maybe 4 years old, but it's a form of dwarfism or growth hormone deficiency, and he's actually 19 years old, and he is a baller. And he's a massive fan of Ultimate Fighting.
He lives the wildest life.
He just does.
The wildest life. There are plenty of Hasbulla fan pages out there on Twitter, on Insta, I imagine too. Yeah.
When you have 67 million followers on TikTok, it's hard for WWE to ignore that kind of pull. And Khabib was chatting to Locker Room. And he said, with regards to Hasbulla, he has to go to the US. All the big sports stars know him there, and he is very popular. He has to move from Russia for a couple of years to the US and become maybe a billionaire. The WWE also want him to come to them somehow. They want to pay him some big money to get him into the ring. He is immensely popular abroad. Hasbulla in a WWE ring.
I think that this is the most natural. WWE are all about this, as you said. Hasbulla is very popular with just many age ranges. I feel like the amount of times I've had people share a parent share one of his videos, or like a sibling or a mate, and it's just different age groups. So I think he's somebody that kind of transcends that, and I think that he's somebody WWE will definitely want on their show, because I don't think you could control him. I think it'd be wild.
It's going to be the best. Please make that a thing next year. But if we are recruiting from TikTok, can we get Mr. Harrison, the TikTok teacher, into WWE as well?
Like, what entrance is he going to make? Is he going to do a different one every week?
Or I think he has to do a different one every week. He's already proved on TikTok he can do them all.
He's going to have to choose legends only, though, right? Because he can't be having, like, I don't think Seth Rollins would be very happy if he came out to Seth Rollins' music.
I think
unless
if Mr.
he came
Harrison...
out to burn it down. That would be funny if Seth was in the ring and he came out to burn it down.
If Mr.
And then
Harrison...
just did the entrance and walked off.
I genuinely think if Mr. Harrison, the TikTok teacher, does your entrance, you become legend. That's how it works now. All the love to Mr. Harrison this morning, and to you for staying with us at Cultaholic. We'll have more news as we get it throughout the day. Until then, stay safe and love you. Bye.